a few years ago. I don't want to digress on that one. And she was aided by the NAACP when she received racial threats, and the NAACP helped her get a win in a lawsuit against the city that she's from. We're not going to talk about that. But I am about cancel, and I'm not for cancel culture for the most part. But we got to cancel people like that versus a Mona Scott Young. And again, I may not admire or disagree or agree with Mona Scott Young in the way she does things, but you're never going to hear me say you should take her money away from her. She's earning. Those people she has working with her and for her are earning. As long as people watching, keep going. But we have to hold some people responsible. I just want her to do something positive. Put something in a positive light. Do that. And I mean on TV. She's probably doing something positive we don't know about. But just do something positive on TV. All right, we'll be back in a minute. When we come back, we'll finish the show up with we're gonna talk about Southern rap, man. We gonna talk about Southern rap because it came up the other day that Southern rappers can't rap, and we gonna talk about this thing. He ain't here.
Who said that blasphemy?
He ain't here, but we gonna talk about it. We'll be right back. Mac and Free.
Relax yourself, girl. Reset to me. Relax yourself, girl. Reset to me. Relax yourself, girl. Reset to me.
I met you in the club in Atlanta, Georgia. Said me and my homeboy were coming out with an album. You looked at me like, yeah, nigga, right, but you gave me your number anyway. You were on the talcum. Powder house about the burn.
Mac and Free names are not important. And hey, man, when you live a day in the life of Andre Benjamin, who said Southern rappers can't rap, man? But it did come up in discussion, Free, and part of that was it was really mostly about, do you hear Southern rappers freestyle, and we were talking about in particular we was talking about Andre 3000. And I was saying that in 2012, Andre 3000 had been on a hiatus for a while. He came out of his shell, and he featured on 3 tracks in 2012. Those 3 tracks were 16 on the Rick Ross album. It was he featured on Sorry, which is on the T.I. album, Trouble Man, Heavy is the Head. And he appeared on what's his name? Frank Ocean. Frank Ocean's what's the name of that album, Free? I've forgotten everything right now. It was Frank Ocean.
I forgot the first album.
Not the first.
Orange.
It was Orange something. Hold on a second. See, I hate when I do this. So the third album was Blonde. The second album was Channel Orange. The first album was a album called Nostalgia. So, Frank Ocean, he featured on Channel Orange, and the name of the song was Pink Matter. But he also appeared on, like I said, 16, which is a Rick Ross track, which was on which Rick Ross album was that? That was not Black Market, not Deeper Than Rap, but God Forgives, I Don't, which was also in 2012. And he had 3 of the hottest verses you've ever heard. So I Googled them to see if I could find an Andre 3000 freestyle. And what I found instead was an interview saying was an interview of Andre 3000 saying he does not freestyle. It's like, well, oh, never mind. So he doesn't freestyle, and it brought up the question: are Southern rappers as good as Northern rappers? And I say yes, and in some cases they're actually even better because they're able to take the Southern vernacular and flip it in such a way that other rappers can't. You agree or disagree with that?
I agree. I think though a lot of it comes in with just it's number one. It's hard to define Southern rap or Southern rappers because you got so many distinct styles in the South. So freestyling ain't. I don't think it's as big because with the Southern style is geared around a lot of storytelling. You know what I'm saying?
You can say that about West Coast too, though.
Well, yeah, but and it wasn't really centered around like the lyricism, like metaphors and putting stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I think we run a risk when we ask a lot of Southern rappers to try to start freestyle because a lot of the punch is in the story. And I'm not talking about all South. I'm just saying what we might say typical South. I don't think that they can't. I just think it has something to do with style. You know what I'm saying? The freestyling and the battling is a northern thing. So I think it's the culture that kind of dictates that aspect of rapping. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't know.
But see, I got to give you some pushback on that because
Come on, push.
When you really think about like Southern rap and them being able to use punchlines, they use punchlines too in metaphors. They just sound different because again, you got the Southern vernacular that's attached to it. So when you hear like, hold on, I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna go to. I'm gonna go to. So when you go to a song like "Sorry," which was written, so it wasn't actually this wasn't a song that Andre 3000 freestyled. It was written where he says, I learned that an apartment is way more exciting than a big old house on the hill. I used to be a way better writer and rapper when I used to want a black Karma gear. Now a Igga speeding in a Porsche, feeling like I'm going off a course. Cut these Iggas off. Negative in my life, scream that till I'm hoarse. Duck these F off me projectiles. B, you ain't really got a choice. I'm living my life, F yours. I don't even like rapping fast, but that's how the word come to me. Talk to me sideways, Igga, that's your ass. Slow it down. So now, when you hear those lines, like I had to go to, because Andre 3000 did something different on Sorry. So when you go to how many punchlines and double entendres that he used in there, is it really fair to talk about how Southern rappers can't rap? Because, and before you answer that, I just want to say the way T.I. was introduced to me when I first heard about it was he's the Jay-Z of the South. So I don't know how you heard about him, but that's how he was introduced to me. And I mean, lyrically, T.I. don't disappoint. Now, there's a slew of Southern rappers that I could point to and go, nah, that's disappointing. But T.I. is not one of them.
Yeah. Well, it's very unfair to say that Southern rappers can't. I mean, if you look at 3 Stacks, Big Boy, you look at Goody Mo B, you go down to Texas, you look at Scarface.
Yeah. One
You look
of
at
the first Southern
rappers.
rappers, by the way, was
Yeah,
Scarface.
I mean, if you look at just the whole movement, when you look at the North Carolina rappers with Lil Brother, Rhapsody, you have various styles in the South, so it's hard because even in certain genres, you look at
That's interesting that you brought up Little Brother and Rhapsody because they're not considered Southern rap, and
exactly
neither is J.
because of
Cole.
the style.
Yeah.
So exactly, so it's like what do you consider Southern rap? If it's like, okay, if we go with, do you consider it the Dirty South with the Port Arthur sound with UGK? I mean, look at the skills of UGK. Bun B, one of the baddest out there too.
One of the first Southern rappers, by the way. People don't remember Pocket Full of Stones from the what movie was that? Menace to Society.
Yeah. So it's like, number one, you got to define what you gonna consider, because for that matter, you might not consider Andre three stacks Southern rapper with the way he spits it and can change up styles.
He's gonna be Southern.
Yeah, but it's like how can you distinctly say what Southern is? Like, you can't clearly. It's hard to define, first of all.
Let's point to something on that real quick, because here's what you just pointed out. The ones that aren't considered Southern rappers are the ones out of North Carolina. What is it different about North Carolina, the state for which we live, that doesn't give credit? I mean, you had one Southern rapper, and that was Petey Pablo out of North Carolina.
Who really wasn't Southern.
But again, people identified him as Southern rap. And again, Fonte, born and raised Greensboro, North Carolina, not considered Southern rap. Rhapsody, not considered Southern rap. She's from Snow Hill. And Snow Hill's the epitome of the South, if you ever been there. Mm-hmm. And then you got J. Cole, Fayetteville. I believe J. Cole was originally from New York. So I kind of understand that one a little bit. But he was raised the majority of his life Fayetteville, North Carolina. Yeah. Spent most of his life in Fayetteville.
So it's school days with that.
Yeah.
But once again, you look at the influence, the northern influence on North Carolina hip hop. If we go into history, hint, foreshadow. But I do want to say, I think when we get into Southern rap, it is so diverse on what you consider, because you could go look at the deep South, to the trap sound, to the Outkast sound, to the T.I. sound, to the Ghetto Boys, to the Florida sound. Like, to put Southern rap in a box is a tragedy. I just think we need to say rappers from the South. Number two, to say they can't rap, once again, it depends on how you verify. Is it how they put stories together? Is it about content? Is it about rhyme style, pattern, pace? How we do it. A lot of times we measure them by, can they freestyle and spit? But let's be real. It's very few cats that really freestyle off the dome anymore. A lot of them, when they get on these shows, got stuff that they wrote and they just jump on the beat with something they already. Let's be real.
But hip hop has also proven that this is more than freestyling, because one of the greatest freestylers of all times is Cannabis, and you try to get him to do an album, and it's not quite like what LL can do with an album. There are different layers to the art itself, and I think it gets lost, and a lot of people don't realize that a lot of these cats, like, freestyle, the ability to freestyle or not, it's a matter of, can they tell a story, and can they get people interested in listening, not necessarily can you make them dance, can you make people think. I mean, it's all encompassing when it comes to hip-hop, I believe. And we have to keep that in mind, because, again, I mean, I like